friends. Hello, hello, everybody. So, I had some questions about finance. So I wanted to speak about that. I was hoping to do a live with someone who could speak about that better than me, but he's not available, so it's quite complicated and time is flying, and maybe you know, but it will be a big, very important summit in South Africa about the BRICS, on the 24th of August, so very soon. And that may be going to create some big changes. So I had question about some of you who knows about that, what to do, and for me, I cannot say what to do because I started to invest in precious metal like 10, 12 years ago. I started to do that in a very simple way, like $100 a month, automatic, transfer. And I forgot about it, I can say. And when I had a little bit of money coming from residuals or money that I didn't need or I spared, I put it there. So slowly I built a small capital, and with what is going on, I invested in fact in gold, in silver, and in gold backs. So I cannot say it's the best thing to do, but for me, I feel it's the right thing to do. So a friend of mine told me about that many years ago, and at the beginning it was quite abstract to me. But what I did, it gave me the contact of an organization to buy these precious metal that are real precious metal, not paper, not certificate, not electronic or digital. And what I did, because I wanted to know where I was going to put my money, I took a ticket to Utah, because the company is in Utah, and I went to visit them and to speak with them. So I felt it was right, and I started to do this more than 10 years ago. So, and I'm happy I've done, because I was not knowing absolutely anything about all this money thing. I never been really in stocks or things like that, or it's a long time also I don't have a saving account because of that. Before I had a little bit money on my saving account on my bank, and I had, my current account, and I was playing with this. And when I opened my account at on this corporate, I void my saving account. So it's a long time I don't have saving account at the bank as well. So I see someone who tells me, who asks me what will happen when it goes to digital. I don't know. And I think we're going to go, it's a time of transition. It's a long time now that a lot of people are using credit card, and I must say it's quite convenient, especially when you do like me, paying all in full every month. I don't have debit with my credit card. This is really a point that is important to me. It's to don't be like paying a monthly, but paying in full my balance. I always did that. I feel comfortable with that. I feel at peace with that. So this is my way to deal with this credit card thing. But I must say it's quite, so especially when you travel a lot, it's quite convenient, because anywhere you are, you can pay, or you can have cash. Even sure I take fees, but it's a service fee because you don't have money, cash, a lot of cash on you. And when you travel, it's more convenient. So, and I never had trouble anywhere I've been. So regarding the investment in precious metals, for me, it has been, in a way, a change already a long time ago in my way to keep my money on my bank account and saving account. So as I told you, I closed a saving account. And I actually, I went on something some years ago. I wanted to be on credit union. So stupidly, I closed my bank account that I had at Citibank. And this created me a lower credit score that was excellent. I always had an excellent credit score, and when I closed, I didn't know that I should not close the account. I should let with almost nothing on, because this will not lower my credit score. So this is something maybe to consider, to know about. Me, I learn by the practice, I can say. So I wanted to go on credit union, so I took a credit union, but the problem was that I have transfer from foreign country of my work as model, because I have different agency around the world and I was paid in different currency, and this has been really a trouble because it was very complicated to transfer money at that time, like maybe same time, like maybe 10, 12 years ago. When I went on credit union, it has been very complicated for my client to make the transfers from foreign country on the credit union based in the US. So at that time, I had also, at Citibank, I had also a safe, because as I was traveling a lot, I was putting, document or things that were precious or some jewelry in the safe. So when I closed at Citibank, I could not have safe anymore. So I was in Malibu, and one day, like, life is really amazing. And one day I was looking for coins for the park meters, for the parking. So I went to this bank, local bank in Malibu, and I saw they had safe. So I said, "Do you have safe?" And they say, "Yeah." And what do I need to do? "Oh, nothing, you just open a checking account." But I did. Like that, I had a safe right in Malibu, not obliged to go in Santa Monica. So this made my life easier. So it's quite interesting because it's like a path that is flowing. And I had, I cannot say a problem of don't have a safe. It was not a big deal. But immediately, I had the answer. And just by a tiny thing of getting some quarters for the parkings, So I opened that account, and I am with this little bank since. And the same, I don't have a saving account with them either, but this has been much easier for me to have clients from overseas transferring money. Since I started to do the shawls, I've been also educated by some of my customers overseas, because for them it was complicated, or to pay by PayPal or this kind of thing, and PayPal are taking quite a lot of fees. So one of my customers told me, "Why you don't open a Wise account?" So I was wondering what was this Wise account, but I did. And this helped me for customers overseas and even in this country to do a direct payment with almost no fee. And this is quite, and immediate payment with almost no fees. So is what I told my customers eventually to use this system, because it's quite convenient. They developed a lot, and their system. And in fact, now it's possible to send money overseas in a lot of countries very fast, instantaneous, and with very, very minimal fees. So this is also something now I am using, but I have a little bit of money on that account, a little bit on my bank account, a little bit I have my credit card paid in full, and I have this investment in precious metals. So I cannot give name of the corporate here, but I can, if you are interested to know, I can give you the contact in private. You can message me in private message, and I can give you the contact for this corporate, and like this you can check by yourself on their website and information and all that. So let me know if you're interested about that, because I don't want to be someone, and I'm not someone scared, and I don't want someone be someone that is alarmist, I can say, but it may be a big change after the 24th of August, financially. So I'm quite curious to see the shape it's going to take. It's like a lot of financial podcasts are speaking about the de-dollarization. So the dollar will not be the main currency worldwide, and this can create a big change. So maybe it's time to consider, even if it's not a lot of time left, but it's time to consider the options in case of. This doesn't mean that it's going to be a drama, but it's better to be a little bit ready. And also I did that. I have a little bit of cash with me, because we don't know what can happen. If you have, for example, the ATM machine not working, and we saw that quite a lot of ATM machines are not working anymore. And since the health crisis, a lot of banks are not opening, like small banks are not opening every day. And it's difficult to make some transaction. I had some difficulties to send money overseas from my US bank account recently. So there are things that are moving in the financial system, and we can take some little precaution eventually to don't be stuck there. So I'm curious to see how you deal with these things, because it's like the digital currency. Some years ago I invested a little bit in that, and I think it's really a thing of feeling. And at the moment, I felt it was time to get back. And it was right, because when I got back, it was like maybe 5 years ago, I got back my money. I made some money, a little bit of money, and after it was crawling. So I have absolutely no advices to give. Just I speak about just my personal position on that. And I'm not a specialist. I don't know what can happen and how things can happen, but I think we have to really be informed. I listen a lot of podcasts about economics and finance. It's very interesting because it's linked to history and social events, and I learn a lot about other countries, and also what is going on in the world. So I invite you to just go on YouTube and check it out and be interested about that, because we are all part of it. And all this is because, as I said many times in my life, there is a deep change, very deep change in humanity. So the old system that some people would love to go back, it will be very difficult because it's obsolete, and we can see this at every levels. So it quite makes sense that even the financial system changes. So what the shape is going to take, we don't know, but we have to consider what could be eventually the safest option to don't lose our savings. Some people are buying land, me, I'm buying a house, but nothing is warranty. You never know, and also you never know look what happened in Maui, in Hawaii. You never know what can happen. So you really have to be informed and trust your gut. Trust what is right for you to do, because maybe something can be right for me and not right for you. But there are some common basic elements that come in play. You have to consider what are the things that will still be valuable. I have some of my followers, customers who bought my silver bracelet because it's an investment. And it's quite a lot of money for sure, but it's an investment because it's sterling silver, very pure. And like this, it's like a way to don't lose some savings. So this is, some reflection I wanted to share with you. It's a time I feel a lot of changes, even in my body. It's quite hard sometimes. Some days it's fantastic. And like today, I don't know if it's because last night I went at middle of the night to watch the stars and maybe I had a bad position or something. But today in my body, I'm sore. It's quite painful. That is rare. But I see the weather is also changing. It's like no storm is announced, but we see a big storm coming. So it's that. This is affecting us. This is moving us because we are electromagnetic beings, and when something in the electricity in the air is changing, we are also touched by that. We are also affected by that. So this is for you to have in mind we are part of a wholeness, and something moving on a place can affect something on another. So the thing is to don't be scared, to know that there is a natural process at play, and also to have in mind some symbols. Money, liquid money, is connected to, at the level of the planet, to the blood in human bodies. So it's interesting to see how this is circulating and what can be, if the flow is right, if the flow is disturbed or anything like that. So it's quite interesting to observe that, to be above all this and observe this as a bigger picture, and to don't be scared. This is very important, because more you're going to be scared and more you're going to be stressed and more you're going to lower your frequency and less you're going to get the right insight messages from higher frequency, that is your higher self, for example, to be able to act properly when it's time to do it. So fear is really the thing that's going to bring you really down. So for that, what is good is to be informed, to really search for information by yourself. Let you guide it. I always say you go online, maybe you go on YouTube or you put some words, even on Google, and you let you guide it, because one thing, you're going to click on one thing and something else is going to show up. We can say it's artificial intelligence, but we have to have in mind that this artificial intelligence and this internet and all this technology, we created it. We created that. So for me, it's because at the unconscious collective, we created exactly the tools that we need. Maybe you notice that sometimes you think about something or you do some research and suddenly you have all these things connected to that you search. And like that, I don't see it negatively because I'm not manipulated by that. I just observe, and like that, from one to another, I got details or information about something I was looking initially, and it's become more complete. It's like this internet, in fact, is a pale reflection, but still a reflection of our own internet, connecting with invisible worlds that we are part of. We are not only this physical body. So I want to see the positive side of it. I don't ignore the negative one, but I want to see it as a tool that an unconscious collective we created for our best, our advantage. I don't want to fall in the trap of all the manipulation and all that, because we can be manipulated if we are not taking step back, observe, and connect the dot, be very alert, and be like using our intelligence, intuitive intelligence, and also our mind, not in a mentalist way, but in a way to also to create another reality, to decide with our imagination that we want something different. Because all what we are going through, it's quite so disturbing since many years now. It's not finished. I said this at the beginning. There is a little bit of, information on the astrologic side. It started in 2020, and I was like, okay, now I know it's better in 2025, end of 2025, beginning of 2026. So this means it's like a time that is, in a way, like a time of a war. These wars were like 4, 5, 6 years. So we are in that, and every time there is a war, it's in fact a big change in humanity. So we are in that period. It's not finished. It can be even much difficult than it has been up to now. But we have always to have in mind that we can go through this, because we came especially on this time as soul to live this experience. It's not to avoid it. So we are part of it. And how we can cross this with confidence, trusting that we came at that time to live this experience and go through it. Not by avoiding it, but go through it. So this is a little bit what I wanted to share with you. And I don't know if there are questions. I'm going to check a little. It's not so easy for me to see because glasses. So take good care of yourself. Also, there are all these sites that said, I see a question. I would love for you to explain your budget. You know me, I'm not really good at budgeting. I'm not really good at that. And I must say that being in, since 2018 in the shawl business obliged me to be more, sure, I have the orders to pay, I have the orphanage to give money to every month, and it's like, but it's separate. This is corporate. I have also to be clear with what is corporate and what is me. And as I do everything by myself, sometimes it's not easy. In fact, this business obliged me to separate my identity as personal to the identity of my corporate. And it's really weird because the name of my corporate and business is my first name. So even my accountant was not really understanding when I was choosing that name. But it was not making sense that it's not be at my name for me. So it has been, in fact, by that, that I started to be able to differentiate what was my corporate and what is me. So it has been a good experience for me, and it's really, really interesting. So budgeting, I don't know really. I know I need maybe $100 a week to eat or something like that, or less. Going to the farmer's market and doing few things. I don't have a lot of expenses because I'm not traveling a lot anymore. I'm not going in fancy places at all. I enjoy to be at home. I do everything by myself. I don't go to hairdresser. I don't go to manicure. I don't go to all this kind of thing. I don't need this because I have my spa day. I do my scrub. I do my mask. I enjoy it. So I have all this, way to live that makes, in fact, lighter the financial thing. Much lighter because I don't have the same needs, you see. So voila. So I don't know if I have another question. I know the French gonna tell me why not in French. It's complicated, It's really complicated. And I feel these last weeks, I need time. I need really time for myself. Sometimes I say, I'm gonna do a live about that, and the day pass, and sometimes I have to go to nap. Sometimes I have to go to bed very early. I need time. So let's see. Oh, someone said nobody is safe anymore, no matter what we have saved or behaved respectfully. Yeah, sure. Because it's like the caterpillar that is in the cocoon, in the chrysalid. It's a time of everything is dissolved to create something new. But as human, we have something more than, in a way, than animals. We are under the rules of nature law. So if we follow nature law, we are more anchored and we are more grounded, and it's easier. Life is easier. But we have also the ability to create, besides the fact that our body is under natural law and has the ability to heal by itself, when we really trust the process, when we really take care of ourselves, when we eat properly for ourselves, not like the neighbor, but what we feel that is good for us. And this, we can just acquire this by experience. If we do so many, excess, we're going to feel that we need something different. And it's just by these suppositively mistakes that are not, because it's exactly the condition that is needed to take another path. And it's what is going on now at the collective level. We've been in so much disconnection with nature law. People don't even know how their body is functioning. It's really mind-blowing to me. They don't trust they have to take all these drugs and things because they don't know they have an immune system, and that this immune system going to be built stronger and stronger more you are, in a way, touching your body. And they don't realize also that they create some disease because their way of thinking is not aligned with their integrity. This is something that is very important. To be on your own integrity, that is not the one of your neighbor. It's really your, in a way, you follow your own law. If you want to follow and copy the law of others, you have great chances to go towards something that is not right for you, and this is going to manifest in your body. And for this, you need to have good clarity with yourself. You need to know who you are, and even in your darkest sides, you need to really face who you are. You need really to be okay with that, to be like Okay, not judging negatively yourself. This is very important because we are here to experiment. So it's very important. It's a question of integrity at all aspects. It's difficult to explain, but when you are like that, things are much more easier because you don't stress yourself, you don't create, in a way, poison in your cells by stressing, by negative thought, by that. And I don't say that sometimes I don't feel negative thoughts coming, they come, but I observe them. And I feel what is the part that can eventually teach me something, or that can eventually make me develop something that I've not done, or that is... So it's a personal path, and nobody can tell you you have to do that or that. You just have to be on the path by yourself, alone. People can give you information, but nobody can give you advices. You have to do that, like that, because you don't know. Because you don't know. People are not in your skin. People will not have the same life experience as human that you have. And this is very precious. It's very precious. Everybody is unique. Everybody is worth it. Everybody is spiritual being. When I hear people, oh, you are more spiritual. No, I'm not. Everybody is on a spiritual path, but conscious or unconscious of it. And our daily activities, experiences are part of it. It's spiritual experiences. So because we come from spirit, we are connected to that. We are these invisible beings in a physical body as well, and surrounded by our invisible beings. So it's that when we feel that connection, when we feel that dimension, it's like fear has no room to be, because we can feel the amplitude of who we are as human being, not just a flesh body, not just that. This, for me, it's wonderful. It's what makes me able to vehiculate myself, my spirit, my soul everywhere in this world, to have this experience. But it's not an end in itself. It's not... and in the same time, I cherish it. And I'm thankful to my body. I'm really thankful to my body to be so, kind with me. And when he's not kind, when sometimes it's troubles, like some weeks ago, it was this very strong passage. And it was then even earlier on the portal of 8th of August. Everything went fine the day before. I was sleeping well, I was feeling well. And the day after, I've been so feeling bad. I've been like pain in my head. And it was not headache, it was pressure. But it's also because we are moved, we are formed, we are transformed right here in our DNA because of the energy outside that is moving, that is changing, the cosmic energy, the electromagnetic energy of the planet, of the cosmos. And we are on that. And we are on that planet, and we are crossed by that. And we are, in French we say malléable. We are moved by that in our flesh. We are like, when you have, the potter what is working with the clay, we are worked in our flesh, like a potter can work in the clay, and this energy is working us in our flesh. And it's like same, it's like a centrifuge energy. The cosmos is all about these spirals and spheres, and it's moving inside of us. And last day I had this pain in the middle of my skull, and it was like it was going to open itself. And I was thinking of baby when it's very, tender in the middle of the skull, and I had the feeling this was opening like when I was a baby, and it was painful, and it was going right in the middle of my brain, like pushing the walls, like growing. And it's not the first time I have that. And it's like I go in front of the mirror, I have the feeling my head became so big and are very high, and I go in front of the mirror and it's like usual. So it's like a weird feeling. So people who could be really scared and go immediately to the doctor because they think they have something in the brain. But when you are, that is this process at work, you in a way, you embrace it. You in a way, instead of rejecting and putting yourself, oh, it's terrible what is going on to me, in a way, in a victim place, you put yourself in a position where you are like part of this amazing process of evolution, human evolution and planet evolution. And we are all mutant since ever, and we are mutating all the time. So it's a pity there is no education about that at school, because this could really relieve a lot of people and feel much more comfortable. When I was a little girl, I learned, and this was fascinating to me, I learned about the blood and the white cell and the red cells, and how this big white cell where we are taking care of what was going on there. And this I was seeing like a cartoon, and it was fascinating to me. I never forgot that my body has cells that are cells killer, and they're able to destroy what is not right for the functionment of my body. So it's that how can we put emphasis of who we are as human beings, and very 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 young, to learn very very young, that because this is going to stay with us. Yeah. Yeah, I see the disaster for Maui. A luck she has an insurance. It's awful. I know what is fire. In Corsica we have a lot of fires, so we have to escape and to let everything. So I know about that. I never had my things destroyed by fire, but we've been many times with fire right there. I had it in Malibu as well, so I was not scared, because at a point you have to be ready to let everything and lose everything. And it's quite also a very interesting practice, but it's terrible. People who are suffering like that, losing everything, being in this devastation, and it's really hard, really hard. I was watching video and of the cars, and I remember sometimes we have to leave from Malibu with the car, and at a point we would have to let the car as well. It's really it's very hard, and we don't know exactly what happened. So let's see if I have some other. Oh, it's mostly in French. The YouTube video I'm listening, it's mostly in French. I follow this guy that is called Idris Aberkan, and he speaks a lot about politics and finance and all that, but it's in French. So I cannot really... they said that... but we have to know the stocks from the Asian finance market. And me, I'm not good in stocks at all. But this is one of the options they give, is to buy some stock from some very good Asian corporate. But I really don't know. So, voila, I wanted to share this with you. And if you have question about this corporate for investment in physical precious metal, you send me a message, private message, and I will give you informations. And voila. So thank you very much. Thank you very much for watching, and I wish you a good week coming. I'm curious to know. How it's gonna be end of August. I'm prepared to any kind of thing. I'm like, I leave also. This is something I wanted to tell you. I'm gonna leave for Thailand around the 20th of September for a little bit more than a month. So I'm going to be away, but I'm also prepared to eventually not be able to travel. We don't know what can happen. If they, lay something new worldwide, maybe it will be impossible to travel. So we have to prepare, to plan things, but to don't be attached to it, to be there for any opportunity. How old am I? You know how old am I? It's everywhere on the net. I am 67 and a half, soon 68. Yeah, so maybe, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen in more than a month? Maybe I will not be able to travel or anything, So, Orman Financial, I don't know what is that. I don't know at all. I'm not really... I'm looking. Yeah, so if you want to order shawls, this is also something. Try to do it before I leave. It will be easier. I have my friend who's going to stay here at my place, so she may be able to send also shawls. But if you want really to be in touch with me and to have, private video to see some options of shawls that you would love to see is what I do. So just contact me in private message, and I will answer to you. I think until the 18th of September, I will be able to do something. Oh, I cannot do my own gardening or sprouting indoors. Yes, I do sprouting, but gardening is complicated. It's too hot here. I try to do this in one of the shed, but it's burning, so it's very difficult, and I don't have a way to put air conditioner in the shed. So I wanted to raise, cultivate some things, but it's complicated, so I cannot do it here. I need another installation to do it that I don't have. And but I have also for food, I have some. I'm not worried about. I always have too much food at home. So, but I have my sardines and cod liver and anchovies, and if I need protein, I have, chickpeas and lentils, and I have this handy. I have, I have things. So this is also something, without being alarmist, try to, have a little bit of reserve for you. Someone is asking me how I will move the safety box when I move. In the safety box there is not a lot of things. When I move, I will have all my papers with me, and I will have my jewelry with me. That's it. So it's not complicated, and I have just a little bit of cash. I will bring that with me, but maybe it will be spent before I leave. Who knows? I have more safe here because of fires. For example, to have, my precious papers. I have some administrative papers that are important, and I put them in the safe like this. It can eventually be protected from fires. Yeah, it's that. Is what I'm telling you all the time. Someone says symptoms can give clues to problem that need. It's exactly that. They do not need drugs to make symptoms. It's even worse than that. Sometimes you take drugs and it cuts the natural process of conscious evolve of development of consciousness that can make you to relate that there is that because in your body because it's connected to an issue X or Y, I don't know, in your personal life, in your private life, in your relationship life, in your financial life. So everybody has to go through this. This doesn't mean to don't check. This doesn't mean to don't do checkup. Not at all. But as I always said, now we have also this tool of bioenergy. So when you know a bioenergetician, it can be the first step to do to check if it's a physical condition like disease or something, and what thing it can be linked. But for that, you have to be really in tune with yourself to know, to say, I had that. I guess it's connected to that. And to start to work with your mind about this and to do maybe some cutting from some relations or some decision, to take some decision, to engage yourself in something that you are reluctant to do, but that you know that you have to do, but you are postponing, it's all this. So when you do this investigation, very often the condition is ameliorating and often going away. But fear is the biggest thing, because fear of anything, when you fear, you contract. And when you contract, nothing flows. Even some people don't breathe, and nothing is flowing, and you're stuck, things are stuck inside, and your body is not working properly. So this is what is going on. It's a poison. It's a poison that creates real toxins, chemical toxins. So this is very important. You have to take the good side of fear. The good side of fear is that you fear something. What you can do to don't be in this situation. Even, sure, we never know what can happen. But if you fear something, what you can do on your side or engage something of yourself or create something else. Maybe you take the fear and you create with your imagination like an antidote. And you feel that you are happy at the idea of this antidote. Like that, you use it. That could be something you bring you down, but you use it, in fact, to stimulate something that's going to make you going up. And like that, your chemistry is going to change. You know, it's like maybe it can be a tool to change your inner chemistry, to have your hormones working better. Because from this thing that is fearful, that can make like that, you observe it, you see where is the issue, what you can do, what you could create to avoid this situation, and how. And when you do that, you already bring something more positive at the chemistry level of your organs, of your hormones. So you reverse that thing. I always think about martial arts. You take this energy that could be like enemy, and you make like a dance, something beautiful out of it. And I say to people since the beginning of that, when you have really a strong fear, You put this, the word of that fear, you put it in a circle and you cross it like it's interdiction. And this, like this, you send this to your subconscious. Interdiction, like you cross it. And this is using visualization and your imagination. But by doing that, it's you are like disconnecting that fear that can bring you more and more stress, and you put it there, like outside of that. Oh, don't ask me about that. The brand I prefer on canned fish, you know, you do your research. Go online and check wild fish, organic fish. I check. I take mostly sardines or this thing from Portugal because I know that the water are less polluted. So I'm looking for that. And I check different brands and I look the provenance and I feel, oh, I want to try this, so I try. Oh, they are good. So it's that I cannot give brands because I have several brands, but just it's wild. You check for things that are wild. It's like if you have the chance, is what I do online. I eat few meat, but I order my meat online in ranches that are raising animals in the wild. So sometimes I have elk, sometimes I have bison, or chicken that are in farm not far from here that are really living outside. So, you know, you have to do your research. You have to know what is important for you. You have to, you cannot have things all done like that to you. Me, I never had. So I always educate myself. I always search. I've always been curious. And I try. And I see how I feel. So I have different things that I cannot tell you. Most important is wild and organic things. The rest, and we know that sometimes it's organic, but it's not. But, you know, we have to also trust a minimum. If you go to farmers market, you're going to find people who are doing good things, even in some preserves. There are all the, you know, fermented product we found on farmers market. We have everything is almost organic, everything is fresh, everything is from not industrial. So you have to look for what can be the most, if I can say, clean and easy, the less processed. This is very important. When I see anchovies with garlic, anchovies with no, me, I go to anchovies in salt or anchovies in olive oil. I don't have all this variation with tomato sauce no, I go to the very basic one. So you have to work a little bit on that. Now we have this tool, we have the internet. It's really, really, really amazing. It's really, we created an amazing tool. So, I think I'm gonna let you now. I'm gonna have some delicious salad. I forgot to have lunch today. Let's see. I'm looking a little bit what is there. Oh my goodness, there are so much. Okay, so I thank you very much, and take good care of yourself. And we're going to go through this. And yeah, and I'm thinking of people of Maui, really. It's really moving me a lot since a couple of days. So we can have them in our heart, and try to do a minimum to send eventually. I think the best is to be in touch with friends who knows friends there, and to see what we can do in direct, not to be under organization that we don't know where the money goes. So and we have this tool. We can send messages or stories and write, are you in Maui, or are you there, or do you know one, this one, or maybe it's more direct. Try to do things direct is what I do with the orphanage. And maybe you saw on my page, it's wonderful. They got the $100,000 grant. They got it on their bank account now. So they're going to be able to buy a land and build their own house. That is because they have such a very expensive rent. So, and this is grace of Sonia. She will recognize herself, and of the Ludwig family, that philanthropist, that by this tool of Instagram and live video, been in touch with me, and I connected them, and we did the file like almost 2 years ago, and now it's done. So it's that, how can we connect directly through this together and make something good, When I read sometimes, I'm not really only reading the comments on my post because I don't have time. But sometimes I fall on one or the other one, and some, mostly French people, very negative, told me, you have nothing else to do than showing yourself, and why you don't help children, why you don't help animals, People are speaking, they don't know what I'm doing or not. They are not even curious to check a little bit online, and they just stay on the appearance. They don't know that I model for myself, that I am doing everything myself, and it doesn't cost me anything. If I had to pay model, photographer, and all that to raise money for the orphanage, I will not be able to give the money I'm giving to them. So I do everything by myself because I can, because I've been trained all these years, photography before being model, and after in front of the camera and model, and now I can do picture or video by myself. And it's not just to satisfy my ego because I show myself. People don't understand what is back of that. It requires a lot of energy, a lot of my time, and just to have some children and young adults to have food in their plate. So instead of criticizing and judging, do what you can. Do what you can with what you have. I do what I can with what I have. I have my body, it's healthy, it's well maintained, and I use it. It's very simple. And I use it, and I don't see why I will use another one that will cost more money. So it's that. It's really develop the assets you have. Do what you can to make something good around you with what you have, with who you are. Don't judge others. You don't know what they are going through. You don't know their life. You don't know what they are doing for others. So try to be, I remember always my trainer in symbolization, Marge Reddington, was saying, how can you manifest the tenderness of God? Because God is not only tenderness, and we know this. So how can we be, a manifestation of the tender side of God? Simply, maybe just by, and I've been raised like that. In Corsica, you cook, and you cook for the neighbor as well. And it's wonderful, because everybody has always something to eat. So how can you do this even in your cities? Maybe sometimes you can knock at the door of your neighbor and bring something to share. Or you did say, I did a little bit too much of that, if you like it. Just kindly. And this can make a big difference, a really big difference. And it doesn't cost a lot. It's just to be this echo of the tenderness, of the tender side of God, that we are. We are a sparkle of this supreme intelligence who created everything. And it's absolutely fantastic when you think about that. So how can we be appreciative to have these abilities to make something good for us and for others as well? Because when we treat ourselves well, others are also attracted by you, and they want to do the same for themselves. And when they do that, by chain effect, cause and effect, they're going to be also, if they treat well themselves, they're going to attract other people who wants to be like that. And like that, it's more and more and more lighter things and beautiful things created. So it's that. So thank you for listening. I said more than I thought, and I wish you a very good week, and take good care of yourself.